in Cultural Hall. Okay. All right. So it's 8 o'clock, so we can start. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Nice to invite sila po ba si Chancellor Carmencita Padilla. Of course, ang ating Decano, Charlotte Chong, ang buong Dean's Management Team na nasa Calderon Hall. Again, mag-brief ang ating tagapangulo ng Department of Obstetrics at Gynecology, Dr. Efren Domingo, ang ating mga kaguruan, fellows, residente at ang mga estudyante natin. Mapagpalang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Napakahalaga ng araw na ito dahil ngayon sa ika-116 na anibersaryo ng ating kolehiyo, minarapat ng ating dekano na parangalan ng ating pamana na may temang Legacy, Honoring Our Heritage. Ako po si Dr. Maria Julieta Hermar mula sa Departamento ng Obstetrics at Gynecology at ako ang makakasama ninyo sa maikli ngunit mahalagang programa sa umagang ito. Simulan po natin ang ating umaga sa isang dasal na susundan ng ating pambansang awit na pangungunahan ng UP Med Choir.
ligayang magiliw, pelas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuwid ka ng mahiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisingin. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit o baga, nagilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kisat ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagbibigay, ang bituin na taro na kailan pa may magdidinig. Lupa ng araw ng buwan at ipagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming bigaya ng pagmay mga api, mapamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Ang panunumpa sa watawat ay pangungunahan ni Dr. John Paul Reyes, isang residente mula sa Departamento ng Obstetrics at Gynecology. Susundan ito ng panunumpa ng kawani ng Lingkod Bayan na pamumunuan naman ni Ms. Aiza Pagkaliwangan, ang aming administrative assistant.
Panunumpa sa watawat ng Pilipinas. Ako ay Pilipino, buong katapatang nanunumpa sa watawat ng Pilipinas at sa republikang kanyang sinasagisag na may dangal, katarungan at kalayaan na pinakikilos ng sambayanang makadiyos, makakalikasan, makatao at makabansa. Ikinararangal ko na ako ay isang Pilipino.
Panunumpa ng kawani ng gobyerno. Ako'y kawani ng gobyerno. Tungkulin ko ang maglingkod ng tapat at mahusay. Dahil dito, ako'y papasok ng maaga at magtatrabaho ng lampas sa takdang oras kung kinakailangan. Magsisilbi ako ng magalang at mabilis sa lahat ng nangangailangan. Pangangalagaan ko ang mga gamit, kasangkapan, at iba pang pag-aari ng pamahalaan. Pantay at makatarungan ang pakikitungo ko sa mga lumalapit sa aming tanggapan. Magsasalita ako laban sa katiwalian at pagsasamantala. Hindi ko gagamitin ang aking panunungkulan sa sarili kong kapakanan. Hindi ako hihingi o tatanggap ng suhol. Sisikapin kong madagdagan ang aking talino at kakayahan upang ang antas ng paglilingkod sa bayan ay patuloy na maitaas. Sapagkat ako'y isang kawani ng gobyerno at tungkulin ko ang maglingkod ng tapat at mahusay sa bayan at sa panahong ito. Ako at ang aking mga kapwa-kawani ay kailangan tungo sa isang maunlad, masagana at mapayapang Pilipinas. Sa harap ninyong lahat, ako'y taos-pusong nanunumpa.
Maraming salamat, Dr. John Paul Reyes at Ms. Aiza Pagkaliwangan. Ngayon naman, upang formal na buksan ng ating programa sa umagang ito, nais kong tawagin ang tagapangulo ng Obstetrics at Gynecology na si Dr. Efren Domingo. Dr. Domingo? Ayan po.
Good morning. Welcome to the flag raising ceremony hosted by the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Thank you, Dean Charlotte Chong, and I welcome as well the Chancellor and the Director. I am very happy as the Chair of the Department to host this flag raising ceremony entitled Legacy. We are in the department honoring our predecessors, from our first Dean, Fernando Calderon, to our first Lady Physician, Honoria Acosta Sison. She was the first president of the POGS. Other superstars of the specialty like Constantino Manahan became our next chair, followed by our eminent concurrent dean and director, Gloria Aragon. Of course, we cannot forget Dr. Julita Albuena. Subsequently, the department became one after it was separate under the Department of Surgery. And so 3 general services became present. And subsequently, the department became the first department with fellowship training in different specialties and subspecialties, notably gynecology, oncology, perinatology, trophoblastic diseases, as well as reproductive endocrinology. We cannot forget the landmark events in the department, the introduction of the first ultrasound machine, the introduction of the procedures unique in each subspecialty. And so we are today honoring the legacy of all our previous faculties. We are happy to see them rest in heaven, but we cannot equally forget Dr. Augusto Manalo, Genaro Limson, and Isidro Benitez. During their chairmanship, they introduced the most number of innovations and technologies. Present-day renovation, because of the government support and through the director of PGH, has been very successful. We thank the government, the Filipino people, as well as the present administration officers of the UP College of Medicine, the Philippine General Hospital, and the UP Manila. We have seen a lot of improvement, including our Da Vinci robot machine, as well as other divisions, which are the first in the government hospital like PGH. I speak about the Division of Sexual Health, as well as the Patient Safety Unit and the soon-to-rise in vitro fertilization center of the department. Thank you very much to all our consultants, to all our trainees, to all our supporters, our benefactors, and of course to the Foundation for Reproductive Care, because they supported the finances for the restoration of the mural of our eminent Dean Fernando Calderon and our concurrent Dean and Director Gloria T. Aragon. Maraming salamat at mabuhay ang ating bansa.
Maraming salamat po, Dr. Efren Domingo, sa inyong mensahe. Sa puntong ito, nais ko pong tawagin ang ating mahal na dekana na siyang nagsimula nitong napakahalagang proyektong ito. Narito po si Dr. Charlotte Chong para sa kanyang mensahe.
Yes, amen. Sa pagbati ng isang makabuluhang umaga, Chancellor Carmencita Padilla, Special Assistant to the Dean Dr. Tony Cabana at mga miyembro ng Dean's Management Team, aking mga kasamahan dito sa Departamento ng Obstetrics Gynecology sa pamumuno ni Dr. Efren Domingo at sa ating panauhing tagapagsalita Dr. Lourdes Capito. Ngayong araw ay nilulunsad natin ang pagdiriwang na ika-116 na anibersaryo ng ating mahal na kolehiyo na medisina. Pinubuksan din natin ang isang proyekto upang pagyamanin lalo ang pagtanaw sa makasaysayang pamana ng ating mga pinuno mula nung itinayo ang ating kolehiyo. Sa tulong ng Departamento ng OB-GYN at ng UP Medical Foundation ay naipaayos natin ang unang 2 portrait ng unang dekanong Pilipino ng kolehiyo ng medisina na si Dekano Dr. Fernando Calderon at ng unang kababaihang dekana na si Dr. Gloria Aragon. Ito ay proyektong tatagal ng 1.5 taon at kasabay po nito ang pagbubukas ng bagong gusali ng Henry C. Senior Medical Sciences Building at ilulusad din natin ang pagtatapos ng restoration ng mga portrait ng mga personalidad na bumuo sa unang sentenaryo ng UP College of Medicine mula 1905 hanggang 2005. Nagbukas po ang pintuan ng ating estudyante noong 1907 ay graduate na rin po ang unang batch noong 1909. Makakaasa kayo na di natin pababayaang makalimutan ang mayamang kasaysayan at ang legacy or pamana, honoring our heritage or pagpupugay sa kalinangan na siyang batayan natin upang harapin ang bagong yugto ng ating kasaysayan sa makabagong gusali ng Medical Sciences Building na ipinalit sa BSLR East and West. Mananatiling importante ang pagbabalik tanaw ng ating pinagbulan, ang binuwis ng ating mga dating guro, opisyales na ibabahagi natin sa atin ngayon. Kailangan nating balikan ang kanilang binigay o contribution sa kolehiyo, ang kanilang oras, lakas at malasakit. Kung babalikan natin kung sino ang tayo ngayon at ng ating mga narating, ano kaya ang naging contribution ng kolehiyo ng medisina dito? Isang masusing pagbabalik, tanaw at refleksyon ang kailangan. Isang munting ngunit makahulugang pong pasasalamat ang ibinibigay natin sa mga dating dekana at dekano na naging rehente, chancellor at mga pansabayang siyentipiko na ang mga portrait ay narito ngayon sa Calderon Hall. Po ipaayos natin, kaya po ako'y nananawagan sa iba pang tumulong upang ma-restore po natin ang lahat ng mga portrait rito. Maraming salamat po at sa mapagpalang umaga at araw po sa ating lahat.
Maraming salamat po, Dean Chong, sa pagpapahalaga sa mga ipinamana sa atin ng ating mga guro noon magpahanggang ngayon. Mahalaga, sabi mo nga, ang pagbabalik tanaw sa ating pag-usad sa panahon ngayon. Ngayon naman, pakinggan natin ang mensahe ng ating Chancellor ng ating Universidad, Chancellor Carmencita Padilla.
Magandang umaga sa aking kapamilya, ang Kolehiyo ng Medisina. 116 glorious years ago, our pioneer faculty had dreams, but they had no knowledge how far the field of medicine will grow in 100 years. If they were alive now, they will be awed by the revolution in medicine. We have been living witnesses that as a community, we have withstood the challenges in war and in peaceful times, crisis or no crisis. Happy founding anniversary to the College of Medicine. Anniversaries are opportunities for reflection. And today, let us reflect on our responsibilities, not only to our beloved UP, but to our country. It has been said many times that our college stood on the shoulders of giants, academic leaders, faculty and alumni who came ahead of us and dedicated their lives to the growth of medicine. A decade from now, or decades from now, our future generation will look back to this decade and thank us, our generation, for continuing the legacy of excellence. Thus, we must own up the responsibilities to ensure that the future is better for the next generation. We have the responsibility of delving into the unknown. Ang hirap, di ba? So what am I driving at? Yes, solve or address the problems of today. But we need to dream, actually dream wildly for the future. As a chancellor, I attend several meetings where university presidents worldwide discuss the future anticipated problems and possible solutions. As a lead university, as a lead medical school, we have that responsibility to think ahead, to help plan a better future, not only for our university, but for the rest of the country. Responsibility is the key message of my reflection on our 116th founding anniversary. I hope that all of us will spend some time, either alone, as a department, or as a college in the next couple of days and weeks. Allow me to share two short vignettes, both connected to the centennial celebration in 2005. Exactly 18 years ago, sometime in 2003, we started planning for the centennial celebration in 2005. This was the term of Dean Cecil Tomas, and Dr. Medi Saniel was the overall chair. I was the chair of the Resource Generation Office at that time. We recommended the establishment of the Centennial Endowment Fund. That had some opposition from some senior faculty. Fortunately, we managed to move this as part of the celebration. We raised 30 million at that time, 20 million from the US-based alumni, and 10 million from the local alumni. Only the interest was to be used and given to the dean. So for 15 years now, the dean of the College of Medicine receives a check every time we go to the US, 5% of the earnings from the investments. I think the last check was $28,000 to be used for whatever the dean seems fit. Based on my analysis, only 4% participated in that campaign, which is roughly about 18 months. Unfortunately, after the centennial celebration, the endowment project was terminated. What is my message? All big universities have huge endowment funds. I was calculating that if all alumni gifted UP College of Medicine at least 5,000 pesos a year for the next 30 years of their career, UPCM would have additional resources for its new ideas. I will let you do the math, but this will assure extra resources for the next generation. If ever you decide to revive the endowment fund in Charlotte, count me in. I may not live for 30 years, but definitely for the rest of my life, I would make a contribution to your fund. My second story is about dreaming. When the Department of Pediatrics celebrated its centennial as a department, and that was in 2015, we came up with a book entitled A Century of Leadership in Philippine Child Health, which is actually edited by myself, Dr. Pia Malinaon, and Dr. Juliet Shop Aguilar. The last chapter was devoted to the next 100 years. We asked our faculty, how do you envision the department in 100 years? Surprisingly, many of the wish lists could really happen within the next 25 years. So we decided that we must really stop with every 5 years and find out what else should be done for the next 5 years. It is really hard to imagine 100 years hence. There was one item that looked impossible in 2015, and the paragraph started with, in 20 years, just maybe, there will be a children's hospital within PGH. You know, the initial reaction was, no way, it's impossible. How can we make that happen? Well, it seems like it will happen sooner than 20 years. So I encourage all of you to dream and throw in the wild ideas to the table. And our deans and department chairs and section heads will be more than happy to look back, to take a look at your ideas and see whether it's something that can be moved forward today, maybe next month, maybe next year, or maybe in the next decade. In closing, I would like to extend my warmest appreciation to the college leadership, faculty, alumni, student, and staff. We have a legacy to continue. This legacy continues because of your commitment. Happy founding anniversary, and my special thanks to our host today, the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Magandang umaga at maligayang Pasko sa inyong lahat.
Salamat po sa inyong pagpapaunlak at mensahe, Chancellor Carmencita Padilla. 116 na taon. Tiyak na maipagmamalaki din ng ating mga guro ang narating ng ating kolehiyo. Naway maipagpatuloy pa natin ang kanilang pinangarap at masimulan para sa ating kolehiyo. Sabi nga ni Chancellor, patuloy nating abutin ang mga pangarap ng ating kolehiyo. Isang malaking karangalan para sa Departamento ng Obstetrics at Gynecology na mula sa aming kaguruan ang mga dating dekano ng ating kolehiyo na pinaparangalan natin ngayong umaga. Tunghayan natin ang isang maikling video tungkol sa ating mga kapitapitagang mga dekano ng Kolehiyo ng Medisina na sina Dr. Fernando Calderon at Dr. Gloria Aragon. Pagkatapos nating tunghayan ang istorya ni Dr. Fernando Calderon at Gloria Aragon, napakalaking bagay na nandoon ngayon ang ating Dean at ang kanyang team sa Calderon Hall habang ginaganap natin itong flag raising na ito. Ang ating panauhing pandangal sa umagang ito ay isa sa mga naging produkto ng pagtuturo at pag-aaruga ni Dean Gloria Aragon. Siya ay si Dr. Lourdes Blanco Capito. Si Dr. Capito o Ma'am Aying sa amin ay nagtapos ng ating Kolehiyo ng Medisina noong 1974 at nagsanay ng OBGYN at Trophoblastic Diseases sa ating institusyon. Siya ay naging research fellow sa ilalim ng pagtuturo ni Dr. Isidro Gutierrez at Dr. Gloria Aragon bago siya nagtungo sa Kobe University sa Japan para sa patuloy na pagsasanay. Matapos nito, siya ay inimbitahang maging kabilang sa kaguruan ng departamento. Siya ay nagsilbi sa Kolehiyo ng Medisina at naging tagapangulo ng ating departamento sa loob ng 6 na taon. Pagkatapos nito, siya naman ay naging Deputy Director for Health Operations ng UPPGH sa loob ng 3 taon. Si Dr. Capito ay naging pangulo ng POGS, ng Philippine Society for the Study of Trophoblastic Disease, Philippine Society for Responsible Parenthood at ng Philippine Society of Climacteric Medicine. Noong 2014, siya ay pinarangalan ng Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society bilang Baldomero Rojas Memorial Lecturer, ang pinakamataas na award ng POGS. At noong 2018, siya ay tumanggap ng Jose Rizal Memorial Award for Clinical Practice. Hanggang ngayon ay patuloy siya sa pagsisilbi sa mga komite ng POGS at sa ating institusyon bilang Pangulo ng Foundation for Reproductive Care ng ating departamento. So lalo na ngayong pandemya, siya ay patuloy na nangangalaga sa kapakanan ng di lamang ng ating kaguruan, kundi ng bawat trainee ng ating departamento. Siya rin ngayon ang tagapangulo ng FIGO Committee for Ethical and Professional Aspects of Human Reproduction and Women's Health. Kaya naman, buong karangalan na ipinakikilala ko ang ating panauhing pandangal, si Dr. Lourdes Blanco Capito.
Chancellor Carmencita Padilla, Dean Charlotte Chong, and Dr. Efren Domingo. Good morning. I am greatly honored to be able to pay tribute to two of the greatest personalities in the field of Philippine OB and Gynae, Dr. Fernando Calderon and Dr. Gloria Aragon. And I am doubly proud that I can say that I am a fellow alumna. Dr. Calderon showed eagerness for intellectual growth at a young age. He was admitted to the Ateneo de Manila and won Ateneo's Diploma of Bachelor and Artes. He was also a holder of two more titles, Perito Agronomo and Perito Mecanico, which are equivalent to diplomas in agricultural and mechanical technology, respectively. He enrolled in the Faculty of Medicine of the University of Santo Tomas, and at the age of 25 years, he received his licentiate in medicine. He started his practice of medicine as an appointed municipal physician in Calbayog, Samar, and was later transferred to Carigara and Ormoc in Leyte. He discovered during his practice in the province the practices and beliefs that led to higher rates of obstetric morbidity and mortality. He conducted several researches and reports that documented these practices, one of which was titled Tropical Obstetrical Problems. He returned back to Manila after around 8 years, but eventually went to France to train under Dr. Tainier, where he mastered the ability to use obstetrical forceps. Upon his return to the Philippines, he became well known due to the expertise and knowledge that he brought to the country. In 1907, when the Philippine Medical School was inaugurated, he was one of the faculty members that was recruited by the then director, Dr. Paul C. Freer. Among the other faculty members were Drs. Albert, Dr. Guerrero, Dr. Singian, and Dr. Del Rosario. The school was eventually incorporated to become the College of Medicine and Surgery of the University of the Philippines. Dr. Calderon became the chief of the Department of Obstetrics and eventually became the vice dean of the College of Medicine of the State University and assistant director of the Philippine General Hospital. In 1913, when the university was eventually allowed to be led by the Filipinos, Dr. Calderon was appointed as the Dean of the College of Medicine of the University of the Philippines. He was eventually appointed also as the first director of the Philippine General Hospital in 1916. He coordinated and harmonized the facilities and services of both institutions, which provided excellent care to Filipinos. At the time of uncertainty, when the president of the University of the Philippines resigned in 1934, he became the acting president of the university. He brought great leadership and orderliness in the time of chaos. He focused on obstetrics during most of his career, during which time he was able to give significant contributions to the practice of obstetrics in the country. His paper with Dr. Honoria Acosta Sison titled Pelvimetry and Cephalometry Among Filipinos was a crucial contribution to the establishment of standards of measurement for obstetricians. He contributed to the initiation of local standards with his valuable knowledge and experience on parturition, among which are 1. Filipino pelvimetry is different from the white or black Americans. 2. Labor is longer in primipara than multipara. And 3. Male babies are longer and heavier than female babies. He contributed to various scientific publications with more than 50 articles in books and bulletins, and with more than 10 reports and publications. Aside from labor and delivery, Dr. Calderon also took interest in studying vaccines, infections in obstetrics, uterine retroversion, uterine prolapses, malnutrition, with significant contributions on decreasing beriberi in the country, and also breastfeeding. Unfortunately, due to old age and failing eyesight, shortly before his retirement, Dr. Calderon put aside his surgical gloves for good. At 81 years old, 6 months short of his 82nd birthday, Dr. Fernando Calderon passed away. With more than 45 years of active practice as a physician, Dr. Calderon contributed significantly in decreasing maternal morbidity and mortality, the development of practice of obstetrics and gynecology in the country, training of the future doctors in the University of the Philippines College of Medicine and Philippine General Hospital, vaccination, improvement in food security to prevent malnutrition, and establishment of provincial hospitals to improve the health care of the Filipino people. Allow me now to say something about Dr. Gloria Tamayo Aragon. Dr. Gloria Tamayo Aragon was born in November 1918 in Manila. She pursued the practice of medicine and was one of the two prominent women in the field of medicine in the country. She studied in the College of Medicine, University of the Philippines, Manila, and graduated top of her class in 1940 as magna cum laude. She also received the gold medal for excellence in the study of medicine in 1940 from the Philippine Medical Association, and gold medal for scholarship in 1940 also from the President of the University of the Philippines. She eventually pursued obstetrics as her specialization. After her graduation, she pursued research as a research associate in the College of Medicine, University of the Philippines from 1940 to 1947, during which time she was able to publish several studies, some of which are on twin pregnancy, hydatidiform mole, chorion epithelioma, and the relationship between erythrocyte sedimentation rate, sludged blood, and plasma proteins during pregnancy. These publications were printed in the Journal of the Philippine Medical Association and other prestigious journals such as the American Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Dr. Gloria T. Aragon has been a great leader, not only in the practice of obstetrics, but also in training and honing future doctors as a professor and dean of the College of Medicine, University of the Philippines, Manila, and other medical professionals as a director of the Philippine General Hospital. That was in 1947 to 1965. When she was appointed as an instructor of obstetrics and eventually became an associate professor. She contributed to the training of medical students with her wide knowledge of obstetrics. She became a professor in obstetrics and gynecology of the University of the Philippines from 1965 to 1983. Throughout this time, she contributed significantly to scientific publications, namely her study on plasma iron deficiency in pregnancy, blood findings among pregnant women, plasma phosphatase levels in pregnancy, cesarean section morbidity and mortality, problem of habitual abortions, the indications for cesarean section, serum iron levels in cord and placental blood, and survey of cases of abdominal and intraligamentous pregnancies. In 1967, she was appointed as the chair of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology of the Philippine General Hospital. During this time, she strengthened the practice of OB-GYN in the institution to provide better healthcare to Filipino women. In a field dominated by men, Dr. Aragon became a prominent leader. She became the first female concurrent dean director of the College of Medicine and the Philippine General Hospital, University of the Philippines, Manila from 1979 to 1983. During her term, among the significant changes and additions in the program of medicine was the approval of the Intermed program, wherein direct high school graduates can apply directly to the College of Medicine, thus decreasing the length of time to graduation and the practice of medicine. After her assignment as the Dean Director of the College and PGH, she became part of the Board of Regents of the University of the Philippines, Manila, from 1983 to 1986. She was awarded as Professor Emeritus of the University of the Philippines since 1984, allowing her to continue her teachings in the university. But she was at that time also mentoring and influencing young doctors to achieve greatness despite her retirement. Her legacy as the first woman dean of the College of Medicine of the State University paved the way to more roles of women in the practice of medicine and in obstetrics and gynecology. On a personal note, I would not be a consultant in the Department of OB-GYN if it were not for her. I became a research fellow in trophoblastic diseases under her and Dr. Isidro Gutierrez tutelage right after graduation from residency. I must have done something good, for she recommended me to the department at a time when the department had not been accepting new consultants for quite some time. When I became chair of the OB-GYN department of Manila Doctors Hospital, she would always tell me to run to her in case I was having a difficult time, although she was already sick at the time. I took care of their patients when they were not able to go to their clinic, so much so that she told me to take over their clinic, although I had my own room then. The last time I visited her, she berated me in her typical loud voice and, sorry for the word pagmumura, for not obeying her orders. She passed away shortly after, so I transferred clinics in haste for fear that she would nag me from the beyond. Some of her books are now in the library of the department. I hope they are being well taken care of. I will never forget her for being a big factor for what I have become. I am forever in her debt, along with Dr. Isidro Gutierrez. They were my mothers in the world of OB-GYN. I could still remember her shouting at me in the hallways of PGH for wearing maong pants, which you can do so freely now, while making rounds on patients. I guess she was also influential in my always having to appear decent and dressed appropriately in my clinic and in the hospital. Thank you for this opportunity to pay tribute to two people who are greater than life in the field of OB/GYN. They played a major role in the formation of the specialty and for what it has become at present. Thank you and good day.
Maraming salamat po, Dr. Lourdes Capito. Napakahalaga ang pagbibigay-pugay sa ating mga kapita-pitagang duro at dating mga dekano at direktor ng kolehiyo at ng ating ospital. Napakapalad niyo po, Ma'am Aying, at naging guro ninyo si Dr. Gloria Aragon. Pero mapalad din po kami sa mga natutunan namin sa inyo. Talagang ang mga dekano ng kolehiyo mula noon hanggang ngayon ay naging matatag at patuloy na namayagpag sa kabila ng mga hamon ng panahon katulad ng pandemya ngayon. Naway maipagpatuloy natin ang mga ipinangarap nila para sa ating mahal na kolehiyo. Ngayon po, para sa pagbibigay at pagtanggap ng donasyon para sa napakahalagang proyektong ito, nais ko pong tawagin muli ang ating Pangulo ng Foundation for Reproductive Care, Dr. Lourdes Capito, para iabot ang donasyon sa Pangulo ng UP Medical Foundation na si Dr. Paulo Pagkatipunan. Ang halagang ito ay regalo ng Foundation for Reproductive Care at Departamento ng Obstetrics at Gynecology para sa restorasyon ng mga larawan ni na Dr. Fernando Calderon at Dr. Gloria Aragon na inahahandog sa UP Medical Foundation at Universidad ng Pilipinas, Kolehiyo ng Medisina sa araw na ito, ika-6 ng Disyembre 2021, dito sa Calderon Hall sa University of the Philippines College of Medicine. Ito ay sa ilalim ng proyekto ng ating dekano na parangalan ang ating pamana. Pakinggan po natin ang maikling mensahe mula kay Dr. Pagkatipunan sa inyong pagtanggap dito sa aming munting regalo. Dr. Pagkatipunan.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees, nagpapasalamat kami sa natin at ginawa kaming partner para sa proyektong ito. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Dr. Pagkatipunan. Sila po ay nasa Calderon Hall ngayon. Ngayon naman po, nais ko pong tawagan ang ating Chancellor, Dr. Carmencita Padilla, ang ating Dekano, Dr. Charlotte Chong, ang ating Tagapangulo ng Departamento, Dr. F.N. Domingo. Nandito na po si Dr. Capito, Dr. Pagkatipunan. Nais ko rin pong tawagan ang Special Assistant to the Dean, Dr. Antonia Habana, para po sa isang picture taking para po natin madokumento itong napakahalagang donasyon na ito at itong araw na ito. So maaari rin sigurong ang ating dean ay kasama ang kanyang buong management team. So maaari pong kasama na rin po sa picture para po isa na lang pong pagkuha. So sabi ko nga po kanina, doon sa mga ngayon lang nakapasok, ito po ang unang hybrid flag raising ceremony ng ating kolehiyo. Magmula po noong nagsimula ang pandemya. So malaking bagay po ito. Sige po, so ayan na po. So tayo ay magkuha po ng litrato.
Ready po. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you po.
Okay. Maraming salamat po. Ngayon naman, ating pakinggan, no? Kung ano nga po ba ang ginawa sa mga larawan nila Dr. Fernando Calderon at Dr. Gloria Aragon. Narito si Dr. Maria Antonia Habana, Special Assistant to the Dean, at siya rin po ay aming Vice Chair for Graduate Programs and Postgraduate Affairs ng aming departamento. Ipapaliwanag niya po sa atin ang ginawa sa mga larawan at siya na rin po ang magbibigay ng pangwakas na salita.
Maraming salamat, JJ. Ano nga ba ang ginawa sa mga larawan ni Dean Calderon at Dean Aragon? Our first portrait is that of Dean Fernando Calderon, the first Filipino dean. He was wearing a white long-sleeve shirt, sitting on a chair, while the left hand is resting on the table. The background is a blue wall. The painting's medium is oil on canvas, and the artist is unknown. On assessment by National Museum Conservator Mr. Ray Esguerra, the painting is in slightly bad condition. It is covered with dust and other foreign materials that affect the surface of the painting. There are paint losses on the lower part of the painting located on the left arm. There are also hairline cracks in some areas. The back of the painting has watermarks on the frame, while the protective cover is dusty with cobwebs and already weak. The nameplate is already corroded. What was done? Mechanical cleaning of the back, consolidation of cracks, mounting, cleaning of the paint, retouching and installation of the protective cover. I would like to invite Dean Chong, Foundation for Reproductive Care President, Dr. Capito, Department Chair, Dr. Domingo, and UPMF President, Dr. Pagkatipunan, to unveil the restored painting. The second portrait is that of Dr. Gloria T. Aragon. The painting's medium is oil on canvas. On her left shoulder is a small portrait of Dr. Oscar Tanco, then Associate Dean for Basic Science and College Secretary. And on her right side is a portrait of Dr. Rosario Isidro Gutierrez, Associate Dean for Clinical Science. The three portraits were framed. On assessment by the National Museum Conservator, Mr. Ray Esguerra, the painting is in good condition, although the surface of the paint layer is dirty. There are insect flecks and dust all over the painting. Minor pollutants contributed to the alteration of color intensity. The back of the painting is also dirty and dusty, but in good condition. The nameplate is already corroded. What was done? Mechanical cleaning of the front and back, consolidation of cracks, cleaning of the painting, retouching and installation of protective cover. I would like to invite again Dean Chong, Foundation for Reproductive Care, President Dr. Capito, Department Chair Dr. Domingo, and UPMF President Dr. Pagkatipunan to unveil the restored painting. On behalf of the UP College of Medicine, I would like to invite Dean Chong and Dr. Capito to the virtual stage. This certificate of appreciation is awarded to Dr. Lourdes B. Capito, President of the Foundation for Reproductive Care Incorporated, for the generous donation towards the restoration of the painting of two of our former deans as part of Dean Chong's flagship program, Legacy, Honoring Our Heritage. Signed by Dean Charlotte Chong and Special Assistant to the Dean, yours truly, this 16th day of December, 2021. Magandang umaga sa lahat. Bago natin isara ang seremonya, nais kong kunin ang pagkakataong ito upang pasalamatan ang ating mga tagapagsalita at sa mga tumulong, lalo na sina Dr. Lou Aguinaldo, aming Chief Resident, at ang pangkat ng kolehiyo sa pangunguna ni Dr. Archie Cabongcal. Sa pamamagitan ng mga mensahe at video, marami tayong natutunan tungkol kina Dean Calderon at Dean Aragon, parehong haligi sa kanilang larangan. Tunay na pareho silang patuloy na nagbibigay inspirasyon sa atin. Maraming salamat din, Chong, sa pagsisimula ng isang kahangahangang proyekto na ito, Legacy, Honoring Our Heritage, at sa pagpili ng Departamento ng Obstetrics at Gynecology upang simulan ito. Ito ay aming karangalan. Maligayang bati sa Kolehiyo ng Medisina sa kanyang 116 na anibersaryo at maraming salamat sa inyong pagdalo.
Maraming salamat, Dr. Antonia Habana. Muli, maraming po salamat sa ating mga mag-aaral, kawani, kaguruan, mga panauhing pangdangal na narito, ang mga Vice Chancellor at ang Dean's Management Team. Magandang umaga po muli sa inyong lahat at salamat sa inyong pagdalo sa aming kauna-unahang hybrid flag raising ceremony ngayon na ating anniversary din. Bilang pagtatapos, ating awitin ang awit ng kolehiyo at UP naming mahal na pangungunahan ng UP Med Choir.
Alam nga, pera ko.
Oy tanghal, mutiang UP Medisina, ika'y bukal ng langhang at karunungan. Ang hatid mo'y pag-asa at kaunlaran, sa aking bayang nagdurusa at nagdaramdam. Oy tanghal, kolehiyo minamahal, sa isang ka ng buhay at kalusugan. Ang ngiti mo'y paglingkuran ng lipunan, malaya ka, makatao, makabayan. Oy tanghal, kolehiyo minamahal, sa isang ka ng buhay at kalusugan. Ang ngiti mo'y paglingkuran ng lipunan, malaya ka, makatao, makabayan. UP naming mahal, pamantas ang hirap. Ang tinig namin, sana'y inyong dinggin. Malayong lupain, aming
bago po umalis ang lahat, kumuha po tayo ng picture ulit. No? So maaari po, Ma'am Tanet, yung pong Dean's Management Team, lapit lang po kayo. Ang ganda po na kita yung Calderon Hall. Tapos po yung mga ating mga kaguruan sa Departamento ng Obstetrics at Gynecology. Nanap ko yan, sir, Sir Martin. Ayan po. So,
Obstetrics in English and Gynecology in Spanish.
Gynecology, kasi sir, tinignan ko yan dito, sir. Ayan. Sa UP Dictionary.